This is TradeFlow News, bringing you relevant news and insights from around the world. TradeFlow News, enabling trade for SMEs and economies worldwide.
These are some of the key topics that we will be looking into in today's program.
First, let's take a look at the overnight headlines which are impacting the commodity markets.
Oil prices topped $120 a barrel in choppy trade on Monday, buoyed by Saudi Arabia raising its July crude prices, but amid doubts that a higher output target for OPEC plus oil producers would ease tight supply. Brent crude was up 64 cents, or 0.5%, to $120.36 a barrel at 13:39 GMT after touching an intraday high of $121.95. U.S. West Texas Intermediate, WTI, crude futures rose 63 cents, or 0.5%, to $119.50 a barrel after hitting a three-month high of $120.99.
Saudi Arabia, the world's top oil exporter, raised July crude oil prices for Asian buyers to higher-than-expected levels amid concerns about tight supply and expectations of strong demand in summer. The official selling price, OSP, for July loading Arab Light to Asia was hiked by $2.10 a barrel from June to $6.50 a barrel over Oman, Dubai quotes, just off an all-time high recorded in May. That was much higher than most market forecasts for an increase around $1.50. Only one respondent of 6 in a Reuters poll had predicted a jump of $2.
Moving on to the top news in the energy sector.
Citi Research on Monday raised its quarterly oil price forecasts for this year and its year average outlook for 2023, because additional supply from Iran looked heavily delayed, adding to tighter market balances. Delay in Iran's sanctions relief is the main factor tightening balances, Citi said. Citing tighter market balances, Citi raised its second quarter 2022 Brent price forecast by $14 to $113 per barrel, and the third and fourth quarter prices by $12 to $99.85, respectively. The bank estimates Brent to average $75 per barrel in 2023, revised higher by $16.
President Joe Biden waived tariffs on solar panels from 4 Southeast Asian nations for 2 years and invoked the Defense Production Act to spur solar panel manufacturing at home, the White House said on Monday, confirming a Reuters report. The tariff exemption applies to panels from Cambodia, Malaysia, Thailand and Vietnam and will serve as a bridge, while U.S. manufacturing ramps up, the White House said. Shares in U.S. solar companies including SunPower Corp., Enphase Energy Inc. and Sunrun Inc. climbed after Reuters earlier reported that Biden would issue a proclamation that ensured panels accounting for some 80% of U.S. imports would not face tariffs, which could have been levied retroactively as part of a Commerce Department probe. Next, we have the top news in metal markets. Gold prices fell on Monday, pressured by an uptick in U.S. Treasury yields as investor attention turned to U.S. inflation data this week that could strengthen the case for aggressive interest rate hikes by the Federal Reserve. Spot gold was down 0.2% at $1,847.30 per ounce by 10:56 a.m. Eastern Daylight Saving Time, 14:56 GMT, while U.S. gold futures fell 0.1% to $1,848.30. U.S. bond yields were higher in the run-up to data on Friday, which is expected to show still high inflation. The dollar also firmed, making gold less appealing for overseas buyers.
Dalian iron ore futures climbed to a 10-month high on Monday, as shrinking stocks of the steelmaking ingredient at Chinese ports added fuel to a rally spurred by optimism around demand in the world's top steel producer. Coking coal, another steelmaking input, also extended gains to hit a 6-week peak following a flurry of recent news about China's resolve to stimulate its slowing economy and moves to ease its COVID-19 restrictions. Benchmark September iron ore on China's Dalian Commodity Exchange ended daytime trading 0.7% higher at 925 yuan, $139.02, a ton, after touching 948 yuan earlier in the session, its loftiest since the first week of August.
We will now look at the top news in the agricultural sector.
Russian wheat export prices rose last week amid active supplies from the country's Black Sea ports, analysts said on Monday. Prices for wheat with 12.5% protein content and for supply from Black Sea ports in June rose $15 to $425 free on board, FOB, at the end of last week, the IKAR agriculture consultancy said. Russia exported 620,000 tons of grains last week compared with 360,000 tons a week earlier, another consultancy, Sovcon, said, citing data from ports.
That is all for today's news on commodity markets. Stay tuned to TradeFlow News as we continue to provide you with more updates. We also invite you to follow us on Twitter at TradeFlow News, which allows you to watch our program on your mobile device or desktop to receive information from there.